Hello dear friends. I covered this topic already in my previous channel, but now it's more updated. Opinion piece. Star children. Children of the new Earth. New data on this topic. Hybrids of ancient astronauts. Russia cuts off electricity supply to Finland. Germany has already started paying for Russian gas in rubles. 20 European companies to pay for fuel in Russian currency. Let's start. There are children who radiate a pure and powerful energy. Their eyes transmit a deep look, free of any kind of negativity. They are the so-called children of the stars, or star children. They possess exceptional qualities that are not usually understood by their social and family environment. Experts assure that this is a new wave of souls that has arrived with the intention of healing and raising the spiritual frequency of humankind. Star children are infants with special abilities, considered out of the ordinary. They are exceptional children, very talented, with a spiritual maturity that amazes, with very special skills, and are able to see beyond the obvious. Physically, they have a deep, pure and transparent look for giving unconditional love. A star child is someone who at an early age masters one or more scientific or artistic fields undertaken by adults. Their intelligence is similar to an overflowing river that needs to be channeled. Their enormous intellectual and creative capacity makes them very diversified in their need to know and learn. They have an extraordinary active brain, often capable of handling different matters simultaneously. But they have little patience with those who teach or educate them if they do not understand it, and they do not accept the dictates of their educators. Generally, stellar children suffer from bullying and poor parental understanding, and in the eyes of some are singled out as misfits or having problems respecting authority. They do not fit in with the general population. They are not part of the herd, and their conscience remains awake as they grow older, completely fleeing the domination of egos and refusing to sleep their essence. They are often diagnosed with attention deficit. Indigo children led the way, breaking with traditional systems that came the calmer, more peaceful crystal children. They are very affectionate, more emotionally vulnerable, avoid conflict and confrontation, prefer to keep quiet and withdraw. They tend to be very quiet, but when they speak, they express their ideas in depth. They like to spend a lot of time alone. They are not afraid of loneliness. Galactic origin. According to the ancient alien theorists, the birth of these star children throughout the history of humankind would be perfecting the intervention made to our genetic code by star visitors thousands of years ago in order to accelerate our evolution. These children would be hybrids who would transmit their genetic virtues to their offspring. Today, ancient astronaut theorists claim that proof has been found that these children are of hybrid origin, based on the legend of the star child, the physical proof of which is a 900-year-old skull discovered in Chihuahua, Mexico in 1930, currently under study in El Paso. Theorists argue that it belongs to a human hybrid and that a study has been made on its DNA, but Wikipedia claims that the skull of the star child is a common human skull with malformation, probably belonging to a child who died as a result of congenital hydrocephalus. As for the supposed hybrid origin of this child, The natives living in the area where the skull was found tell an ancient legend about the star children. According to these stories, which date back at least 2 centuries, beings from the stars impregnated several women living in the most isolated villages of the region. After giving birth to these children, they raised them for several years until their parents returned from the sky to take them away. Time of change. Except from a message from Mother Earth Gaia through Pamela Gripe. New energies want to reveal and manifest. The old is exhausted, tired of fighting, and you all confront the old and the new simultaneously. You too are exhausted from so much struggle. You feel that you can tolerate less and less a life based on fear and the struggle for survival. There is a desire for something more, and I ask you to recognize that desire in your own heart. To recognize that. Each of you carries with you the desire for tranquility, the desire to be able to relax, and the longing to live from joy and deep inspiration. One of the characteristics of the new time is that you must recognize what is unique and singular in every living being. On the new earth, a child will not be expected to conform to the existing structure. Education will increasingly mean that the child's unique nature, his soul, can flourish and that he will be treated with patience and respect for this developmental path. As embodied souls, children are not perfect, and New Age children also have a shadow in their unconscious part. They too are here to grow, experience and learn, but they have something different. Basically, they believe in themselves, although in their behavior they may appear dreamy, absent or restless. However, there is in these children a belief in their unique power, in their different talent, and they refuse to give it up. End of cycle. First, the old economic world is coming to an end, and the new economy will take its place according to Lior Gantz. Second, amateur radio operators will be instrumental in re-establishing communications and coordinating services in an emergency situation. Third, have nothing and eat insects. That statement is not for Jews who cannot eat insects because it is forbidden in the Torah. Disclosure. First, the economy will expose the truth according to the X-22 report. People understand that Ukraine has nothing to do with inflation, high fuel costs, shortage of baby food, etc. The game is over, game over, and many people are awake. The central bank is going to expose the truth through the economy. It will reveal everything so that it can be clearly seen. Second, how to show the world the way. Telegraphic phrases. Those who do not stay awakened. Everything makes sense. The future is now. The past is gone. Final countdown. We always come home to the light. Without love, you will never find the light. The future is ours. The door remains open. The darkness will be revealed, connected for eternity. We return home. The Father's house is ready. 144,000, one of each family. You have a front row seat. Enjoy the show. Sign it, Charles Engels. Third, Werner von Braun revealed on his deathbed the events that would occur in a lifetime in an attempt to install a one-world order government. First, the Russians would become enemies. Second, next Third world countries would be created out of rebellious nations to be subjected to a World Bank. Third, next, there would be a false asteroid threat. Fourth, and finally, a false ED invasion threat, which I don't think those at the top would allow. Economy. First, strong dollar pushes global economy into deepest slowdown according to Bloomberg. Second, world edges against stock market chaos in oil, utilities and China. Third, stock market lows are yet to come as investors have not yet capitulated, according to Bank of America. We haven't hit bottom yet. Fourth, America cannot produce enough fuel and there is no solution in sight. 5. Saudi Aramco posts record quarterly profit as oil prices rise. 6. Silver price recovers as dollar strengthens. 7. FBI arrests CEO of New York crypto platform for alleged fraud. Ukraine. First, the battle for Ukraine rages in the Donbas region. Second, Russia sees no diplomatic solution to the situation in Ukraine. Third, numerous armed vehicles and military equipment of NATO countries were seen in Finland near the Russian border. Fourth, Lavrov calls Borrell's idea of transferring frozen Russian assets to Ukraine theft. 5. Elon Musk's Starlink satellites distributed internet to Ukrainian troops in Mariupol. 6. Musk would reinstate Trump and end bans if his Twitter takeover succeeds. 7. Poland's president called for the abolition of its border with Ukraine. 8. Poland is considering how to justify annexing Western Ukraine. 9. Ukraine claims that Hungary wants its territory. 10. Ukraine will not accept alienation of its territory. 11. More than 123,000 Germans signed a letter to Scholz about the risk of a world war. 12. The crisis in Ukraine would be the result of the desire to build a unipolar world. Europe. First, European Union drafts plan to buy Russian gas without breaking sanctions. Second, Europe looks to African gas to reduce dependence on Russian imports. Third, Germany has already started paying for Russian gas in rubles. Fourth, Bloomberg reports that 20 European companies have already opened accounts at Gazprom Bank to pay for fuel in Russian currency. 5. Germany is preparing for the day of reckoning in the Russian gas standoff. 6. Germany is delaying arms transfers to Ukraine. 7. Italy fends off pro-Russian hacker attacks during Eurovision. 8. Swiss banks and freeze $3.4 billion in Russian assets. 9. The West has no interest in stopping the war in Ukraine if Russia doesn't capitulate. 10. Austria threatens to seize the Russian gas depot. 11. Russia will take retaliatory measures because of Finland's accession to NATO. 12. Russia confirms that electricity supply to Finland will be cut off due to non-payment. 13. South Ossetia will hold a referendum on integration with Russia on July 17th. Spain. First, there will be no shortage of sunflower oil in Spain. Second, the security law violates constitutional rights in Spain. It could force any citizen to perform certain services and confiscate their assets. Third, The lack of chips raises the average cost of a used car by 3,500 euros. Americas. First, European Union will allocate 10 million euros to biodiversity in Argentina. Second, the Justice Department searches the Argentine Ministry of Defense due to the conflict with the Mapuches. Third, more than 1,000 people arrested during the state of emergency in Ecuador. Fourth, Peru sues Repsol for $4.5 billion for oil spill. 5. Peru's economy grows 3.79% in March, weighted down by mining protests. 6. Students take to the streets in Peru against educational reforms. 7. Castillo will promote a law for inmates to work and assume their expenses in prison. 8. Cuba only produced 59% of the medicines needed for the public health. 9. The Venezuelan government introduces tax on foreign currency transactions. 10. Venezuela proposes to Qatar projects for industrial and agricultural development. 11. The house of the Chilean Minister of Defense is burglarized. 12. Tourism grew 14% in Florida in the first quarter of 2022. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.